Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Michael got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle at the 15, to the 20, breaks free to the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. But wait, there's more. Go to our shows page. Okay? Go to our shows page, Shawn and Maya in the morning. Like that page as well. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real. All right, listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. Okay, and also click the notification button. That's the little bell right next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. You get it? You got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, please don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app at the front door. Oh, that's blue. What the hell, Bobby? That was kind of weird. The lighting is a little off today. Why? I don't know. But listen, don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app. So listen, go to wherever you get your apps from. And it doesn't matter where you get your apps from, just go there. Whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Venture, Woolworth, Goldblatt's. Wherever you get it from, you go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. Take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles. Thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping your breast Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. Yeah. Man, this is exciting. This is exciting. So do us a favor. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your Roku television if you have one in the house, and put it right there next to Netflix, Apple Plus, Prime, HBO Max, Hulu, Disney Plus, Stars, Showtime, Paramount Plus. Oh, speaking of Stars, Friday, BMF is back. Black Mafia Family. Woo, Charlie. April. Is Power 4? Is it Power 4 coming in April? Yes, I'm loving it. I feel like McDonald's. I'm loving it. Great stuff. 50's making money hand over fist. Incredible. But anyway, put us right there on your Roku television. You can watch us on the big screen. Hell, we're on the big screen, right? Mickey, Ficky, now. And you can also tweet the show. You can tweet at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online. You want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle We're Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, all one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram because you're an IG and you do it just for the gram, we'll just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Oh, I almost forgot. I almost forget it. What was I doing? Oh man, that's funny. Did I do that already? That's crazy. Apparently I forgot to send my guest the link. Well, how that happened, I don't know. That's crazy. Don't worry, I'll send it to you. Let's see where we're at. Now, if you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IG and you do it just for the gram, we'll just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Man, we have a phenomenal show for you. Okay. We have a really big shoe. Really big. Some people might not get that. Oh, man. That is... That's Ed Sullivan. So for those of you who a little older crowd, okay, a little older crowd, Ed Sullivan. I don't think I've ever seen Ed Sullivan. I just saw clips of him. I never saw an actual show because I think it was done. But anyway, that was little Ed Sullivan. But man, we got a great show at 9:30 at the bottom of the hour. My man Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net. He's going to join us. Man, we got a lot to talk with Ron. He was at the Blackhawks game last night on the West Side. The Patrick Kane game. Or I mean the Chris Chelios jersey retirement ceremony, which turned into the Patrick Kane game. We got a lot to talk about that. And then we had a lot to talk about with him with the Cubs. He's on the Four Feathers podcast. But he also is on the podcast of the Cubs on Tap. So we're going to keep a little longer. You can stay with us, talk 2 sports, 2 teams. Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net. So I'm fired up. We got some Bears to talk. We got some Bulls to talk. Got some Hawks to talk. I like it. I like it a lot. So, what are we doing first? It's only 9:12. Let's see. Listen. We have a funky show, but I need you to get interactive. So listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, our mobile app, or Facebook, YouTube, or mobile app, leave a question or comment on the app on that particular platform. It'll come up here on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show, and that, my peoples, that is why this is the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. That's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Bring it. Oh, I don't look like Wolverine with the Millennium or Titanium underneath. Let's see. Let's check out the chat line first. My man, Cornelius Squall's in the house. What up? That's what I'm talking about. Where goes one, baby? Bear down. That's what I'm talking about. Levette Lee's in the Mickey Ficky house. Happy House Music Monday, baby. Be smooth in the house. That's what I'm talking about. My girl Patty Lara in the house. Patty, my man, Keith and them. I step on stage, girl screaming like I'm Keith. I'm not gonna let you do that, Don. I'm always gonna say that. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Junior's in the house. What's up, Papa? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Yay. Man. Brandon shuts in the Mickey Ficky house. Good morning, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Oh, snap. Marshawn Wall's in the house, baby. Well, he is in the Mickey Ficky house. Woo-wee. I'm telling you, we rolling. You see me rolling. My man, Luis Mejia. I got the cigar, Papa. Thank you very much. It's been transferred into my humidor. Just ready to be smoked. I might smoke a cigar today just because I'm crazy like that. Don't even try and stop me. Don't try and stop me. I might smoke a cigar today. AC Adam in the house. What's up, Papa? What do you got there? Go, Shawn. What? I don't know what's up and bear down. I can't see what the up is. What the animal is up there. I am Pinte Viejo. You're right, I am. But I am very, very excited about it. My man DC and the Mickey Figgy Hell, Derek Carter, what's going on, baby? Bear down. We got a lot of Bears to talk. A lot of Bears to talk today. Oh, snap. Michael Averhard, new subber here. Thank you very much, Papa. I hope we entertain you. Hope we inform you. And hope you like the content. If you do, man, pass it along. Tell your peoples. Tell your peoples and them. Tell all your peoples and them. Well, let's go. Well, Michael, again, thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it big time. Well, guys, you know how we do. You know how we do over here. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Yes, let's see. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? You know what? Let's start with the winner. Let's start with the winner. The Bulls. Only the Bulls. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Only the Bulls. Oh, Steve-O didn't get that one. The Bulls, what a big, man, I'm telling you, it was nice yesterday. Bulls beat the Pelicans 114-106 to DeMar DeRozan. All right, he led the way, 24.6 boards, 7 assists. Vooch, the walking double-double. He had 22 points and 13 rebounds. Ayo DeSumo, Chicago's very own. He had 21 points, 8 dimes. Kobe White, 16 points, 7 rebounds. They're still not a good team, in my opinion. I mean, they're exciting. I think they're going to make the play. I shouldn't say they're not a good team. Let me take that back. They're not a great team. They're not a contending team. They're a playoff-making team, I guess, but whatever. So, and more bad news. The next top of the morning topic, man, Patrick Williams. Oh, my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Patrick Williams has opted for foot surgery and will miss the remainder of the season. What do we do with this guy? What do we do? You know, he's out. Zach LaVine is out. Obviously, Lonzo Ball is out. Come on, man. I don't know. And he might get a little more leeway. He might have a longer leash. You know why? Because he was this regime's first draft pick. So they're probably going to give him a longer leash because they don't want to look stupid. But, man, I don't know. You know what? It's really it's very frustrating with him. Very, very frustrating. You know? Here, check it out. Check out some of the highlights from yesterday.
DeRozan going to work. Over
And
Robinson
one.
Earl.
And
And
one. Yeah, Robinson Earl that time.
Carter for a slipping Vucevic to the cup.
Nice play by Javon Carter.
Dosunmu wants to push. Gets all the way to the cup and scores.
Thank you.
Knocked it away. Ingram got it back and threw it away into the hands of Dosunmu, and an easy deuce.
Nice.
Vucevic got it back. Could not score. DeRozan's got it though. And he's going to walk it back out. And he'll fire it up.
Oh, Compton's finest.
That video courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago with the Bullets yesterday with a big win over the New Orleans Pelicans. Good stuff. Good stuff. DeMar with the dagger. I like it. I like it a lot. and you know what? I think it's really cool. He still wants to stay. You know, he's really I think he's found it here, you know, a home here. So I think that's pretty dope. Well, let's see. Got to move on because we have a lot of topics to talk. Because don't forget, at the bottom of the hour, we have Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net. He's going to join us, talk a little Blackhawks, talk a little Cubs. And speaking of, don't forget, Steve-O, we need the Blackhawks and Bulls Flyers too. Speaking of my Blackhawks, the Blackhawks, baby. Blackhawks fall to the Red Wings yesterday, 3-2 in overtime. Goalie Peter Mrazek, he stopped 28 of 31 shots. And whistle. Lit the lamp for the third time this season. Foligno had his 14th lamplighter. Donato had his 10th helper of the season. Connor Bedard had his 23rd. Seth Jones had his 17th helper of the season. And Johnson had his second helper of the season. There was more. It was really cool. It was Chris Chelios' jersey retirement night. He had his number 7 jersey raised to the rafters, and man, let me tell you something. It was something, man. It was. He's a kid, local kid from Evergreen, right in Evergreen Park. Okay, went to Mount Carmel, my rival, so I don't really. Never mind. Anyway, he gets traded back to the Blackhawks. Plays for the Blackhawks for 10 years. And is widely considered the best American-born hockey player ever. And Chelly was the dude, man. He was a dude. As evidenced by the A-list celebrities that were in the house to visit him yesterday, to watch him. All right, you had Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, Dennis Rodman, all right, the great one, the greatest of all time, Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crawford was in there. So that just made you think, Chelly messing around with Cindy. I ain't mad at you, Papa. I ain't mad at you. I'm just saying. Theo Epstein was in the house. Bears general manager Ryan Poles was in the house. I don't know if you want to call him an A-list celebrity, but you could add him to the list. And it was dope. It was dope. You know, Southside kid got to play his dream. He won 3 Stanley Cups. Unfortunately, they weren't with the Blackhawks, with Detroit. 3 Norris trophies. He was, you know, you talk about being a privileged or fortunate kid. You know, he embodied that. He played 1,651 games, 185 goals, 763 assists, 266 playoff games, where he had 31 goals and 113 assists. And as I said, a 3-time Norris Trophy winner for the best defenseman, with that awards for, and a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. All right. He had a 26-year NHL career. Are you freaking kidding me? 26-year career. He played until he was 47. What the hell was that? 47. 47. Man. It was like 47 is crazy. Hell, I played until I was 40. I'm like, oh, I'm done. He played at the highest level. So he was 47. Crazy. And it was a great night yesterday because also, not only was that the focus, but it was the return of Patrick Kane. Former Blackhawk Patrick Kane returned to the United Center yesterday for the first time since he was traded. And man, some of his teammates met him out, met him underneath in the bowels, and peep this. This is pretty dope.
Oh my. This is something else.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning. That clip courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. You know what was really cool was that he didn't want to take away. This is the kind of guy Patrick Kane is. He didn't want to take away from Chelios. So he didn't do any pregame interviews yesterday. He did an interview earlier in the day at his hotel. So he didn't do any interviews, pregame before the game and Chelios's jersey retirement. And you know what? And that's just the kind of guy he is. And I thought it was really classy. He actually took 3 laps. We just didn't, just for time's sake, we didn't put the third one on there. And a lot of his teammates were there. He walked in and he saw Brent Seabrook. They're all wearing Chelios jerseys, but he saw Brent Seabrook. As you saw in there, Marion Hossa, Duncan Keith was there, Patrick Sharp was there. And man, it just felt good. Remember, he owned that ice for 15 and a half seasons, man. 15 and a half seasons he owned that ice. And it was, you saw the love that Chicago gave him. You saw it. You know, you felt it. And wow, it was something else. Something else. And then he comes in and he gets the game winner. He gets the game winner, and that's, wow, fitting for a guy. And there are 3 generations of Blackhawks players there yesterday. You had Chris Chelios, who played for the team from 1990 to 1999, so 10 seasons. Then you had the second generation was Patrick Kane. Okay, who was there for 15 plus seasons, MVP, 3-time Stanley Cup champion. Then you had Connor Bedard, currently on the team. You know, it was weird. You know, I really wanted them to go after Patrick Kane and just have him and Connor Bedard work together, different lines, same line maybe. And some people are like, no, just start anew, let him start his own path. I'm like, yeah, I understand that. I'm like, I don't know if I agree with it. But, you know what? I mean, he's 2 teams away. All right, 2 teams away, 2 teams removed from the Blackhawks. And it was crazy. It was nuts. But like I said, a lot of his former teammates were there. Obviously honoring Chelios, because Chelios is a freaking legend. All right. But also honoring him because they knew this was the first time that they had that he was back at the United Center. So, it was dope, man. It was really, really dope. Listen, we got to take a quick break. All right. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome our guest, Ron Luce. Ron's going to be with us for a minute because, man, we got a lot to talk about. He was there last night. He was in the house. He was over on the west side. at the house that Mike built. And we'll get a couple of my buddies were there too. They were telling me, I was texting one of them this morning. That's how I know Ryan Poles was there. He said hello to Ryan Poles and said, "What are you gonna do?" He said Ryan Poles just smiled and shrugged. And my other boy's like, "Keep Justin Fields, keep Justin Fields." But he said he was there with his family, so they didn't want to get too crazy and like badger him. You know, he's with the family, so that was funny. But my next guest on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to him about it. What was the atmosphere like? What was the ceremony like? Okay, we're going to find out. So Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net is going to join us. So keep it locked right here, folks. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Brian Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
We're on the subject of great ones from that era. I got to include him. This guy will go down as the greatest American-born player. Kaner, Patrick Kane, unbelievable. That jersey looks kind of funny, Kane. Big row on you. And don't worry, it'll work out in the end. You'll be standing here same as me.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. And that was the man of the hour, Tower of Power. Too sweet to be sour. Chris Chelios, man, it had to be a phenomenal feel yesterday. So you know what? Let's find out exactly how great of a feel it was. My first guest, he's from the On Tap Sports Net. He's been rocking with us for a minute, for a couple of years. He covers the Hawks, the Four Feathers podcast. He also covers the Cubs on Tap. You can find him on Twitter at Luce on Tap. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Ron Luce. Ron, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm good, Shawn. How are you? Good to see you, man.
I'm doing well, man. I am doing well. So first and foremost, man, what was the atmosphere like yesterday at the house that Mike built?
It was unreal. It was absolutely unreal. From the time you get there, I mean, you could tell as soon as you got into the parking lots, it was going to be a sold out crowd. And just walking around, the number of Red Wings jerseys was crazy, but they travel well, and so many. I mean, Kane jerseys. There was a couple wearing Kane and DeBrincat Red Wings jerseys, and I couldn't unsee it for like the rest of the day. But oh man, I mean, the atmosphere is top 5, and I've been lucky enough to go to a couple playoff games. I was at the playoff game where Kane took down the Canucks with his hat trick, but that atmosphere rivals just about any Blackhawks game I think I've ever been to, Shawn.
And my a couple of buddies were there as well, and they said the same thing, and they posted on that had to be awesome. And you had 3 different generations of Blackhawks players. So you had Chris Chelios, obviously it was his night, and you had Kaner, the 3 championships, MVP, and then you had the young buck there in Connor Bedard. It's just a moment, you know what I mean? Like, just to have those 3 greats at the same time, I thought was really, really, really cool. Did you see when Bedard gave him a little shoulder on the board, gave Kaner the shoulder? Talk about that for a second.
It sure did. Yeah, it was actually in our end. So my tickets are down in where the Hawks shoot twice. So it was right down in our end. It was right on those left wing boards, right on that side. There was a pop. You heard a pop from the crowd, and I think it was more so that Bedard wasn't afraid versus like, oh, get Kaner, because I think as everybody saw yesterday, the love for Patrick Kane, despite even what happened at the end of the game, was super high. But yeah, man, hey, I'll tell you what, Connor Bedard, for being 5'10", is not afraid of anybody. He's out in the front of the net going against defensemen that are 6 inches taller than he is. He's, rubbing shoulders with Kane on the boards like that. I mean, he's a fearless player, man. I think if nothing else, that's what that moment showed. But it was kind of a fun blend of, like you said, a couple of different generations of Chicago Blackhawks hockey getting intertwined on those left wing boards.
Dude, what was with the A-list celebrity guest that Chelios had in the house? That just goes to show you how far his reach was. And why was Cindy Crawford in the house? I know she's a DeKalb native, but hold on, player.
Hey, it's one of those things, man. I mean, I think especially for people of admittedly my generation who, I was alive for more of the back end of Chelios's Blackhawks tenure. Like, most of my memories early on of Chelios are still in a Red Wings jersey, because
Red Wings jersey, yeah.
By the time he had moved on, that was what we were used to. First off, hello, chat. I saw some people saying hello, so I wanted to give a shout out to all the listeners. But it was crazy. It literally was like the who's who of celebrities there. Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Dennis Rodman, Cindy Crawford, Cami Donato. I mean, Eddie Vedder. Like, and I think a lot of that too, though, is like, to Chelios's point, right? That bringing up of that time when they were all like, coming up together in those 90s as players.
Yeah.
You rub shoulders with guys like Rodman, who's well connected. You rub shoulders with guys like Eddie Vedder, who's well connected. And all of a sudden you meet everybody, right? Like, and that's just what it was. And, Chelios became a part of that. And you saw it yesterday because everybody and their brother was out. It really was. There was like 2 suites where I would have loved to seen the amount of security that were in front of those 2 suites, because that's where Vedder and Rodman and all of them were sitting. So it was wild, man. It truly was a who's who at the United Center yesterday. So it was pretty crazy to see.
And then we had our own local celebrities. It was Patrick Kane's first time back at the United Centers United Center since being traded, and a lot of his teammates were there, and it was cool. They were all wearing Chelios jerseys to honor Chelly. But then I saw the video of him coming in. He was like, "Oh," he was surprised. He saw Seabrook, he saw the Hossman, Marion Hossa, Sharpie was there. It was a reunion, so to speak, a dynasty reunion. I think that's what the Blackhawks labeled it on their social media, and it was dope. Talk about how cool that had to have been. One for you, for like, oh my God, we're seeing these guys back again. Duncan Key, the captain. I mean, the alternate captain, excuse me. But how cool was it seeing all those guys there supporting Chelios, but also back to see their guy?
It was really cool. And admittedly, like, I know they posted all of that on social media. And if you were on social media prior to the game, you knew those guys were there. I'm one that usually once I get to the UC, I stay off my phone as much as I can, just because I like to take.
You want to enjoy the experience that you
yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? wild things. But so I didn't know they were there personally. So that the first time they showed them in the Chelios ceremony was the first time I knew they were there. So because of that, I think that made it even cooler, truly, because it was a bit of a surprise. It was cool to see Dunks. It was cool to see Siebes rocking the Chelios jersey. It was good to see Big Hoss. Hoss looks like he could still play, man. I mean,
yeah, he does.
That dude's unreal. He probably would still be playing if it wasn't for the skin condition. Let's be honest. But
yeah,
and seeing Sharpie there too as well, especially with him being employed now, obviously by the Flyers as one of their front office members. So it was cool, man. It was a very nostalgic day. I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, I warned her before we got there. I'm like, we're walking in and I'm seeing all the jerseys, and I looked at her. I went, I'm gonna be an emotional wreck today. I just hope you realize that. And she's like, you do what you got to do. And no, it's exactly what it was, man. By like the middle to end of the first period, I just settled down because like I felt like Anthony Rizzo talking to David Ross. I'm in a glass case of emotion, because it was just, it was one thing after another. The Chelly, just everything in the Chelly ceremony was awesome. Everybody that he shouted out, everybody that, was there to see it. I mean, both benches were completely full during the ceremony. Both teams were out there watching him get his number rose into the rafters. And, and then, 8 minutes into the first period, they do the Kaner tribute video. And as soon as it came up, it was crazy, man. It really was. It was a truly nostalgic moment as a Chicago Blackhawks fan yesterday. And I saw what the ticket prices were going for. I could have easily turned around and sold them. And admittedly, because I didn't see a lot of Chelly play in my lifetime, I probably would have sold them if it was just the jersey retirement night. But I was there to see number 88, and I wasn't getting rid of the tickets for anything because number 88 was making his return to the house that, in my humble opinion, that he also helped build as well.
So, dude, that had to be awesome, guys. We're joined by Ron Luce from the OnTap Sportsnet, talking Blackhawks hockey here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. It was, that night had to be, it was just crazy. And like I said, I saw the post on Twitter and Facebook, and it's just crazy. How do you think Connor Bedard felt? Like this is, I don't know if it was like the passing of the torch, but like you had two generations of Blackhawk greats, and it's not like he was intimidated, not like, oh, we're showing up. No. It's like, okay, now this is where you can go, kid. Like this guy is in the not as hated anymore Detroit Red Wings uniform sweater. You know what I mean? Like years past when they were in the Norris division. But you do well in the city. You can get your jersey retired. You're gonna have a standing ovation. How do you think that young man felt yesterday seeing those two older generations of former Blackhawks players?
I think it even went beyond just Connor Bedard, truthfully. That was probably one of the better Blackhawks games I've seen this team play all season, admittedly, especially in person. I've been to, yesterday was probably my 8th game I have attended this year in person, and that was the best game that they've played the entire year. I think it worked. I think it was that way for a lot of these guys. I think a lot of these guys see what happens when you don the Indian head sweater and you mean something to this city. It's not the New Yorks and the LAs. Like, yeah, you can be great in those cities, but you gotta be Kobe, you gotta be Henrik Lundqvist to even get a spark of praise in those markets. If you're an all-time great in the city of Chicago, it doesn't matter how long you've been removed played. It doesn't matter what other teams you played for. I mean, look at Chelios, for example, right? He was traded to the Red Wings, and it didn't matter. Everybody still loves Chris Chelios in the city of Chicago. He's a hometown kid. And I mean, it was the same way for Kaner. Kaner got 5 separate standing ovations yesterday. 5. He had the one in the Chelios ceremony. The whole stadium was on their feet. He had the 3 laps of just after his tribute video. And that was the loudest I have heard that building, Shawn, in a decade.
Really?
When Kaner took his laps. And then at the end of the game, he got another lap after putting the dagger in the heart of the Blackhawks in OT. The guy gets another standing ovation. It just goes to show the other people in the country would probably call it psychotic, and that's fine. But it's truly, if you are a fan of Chicago sports, you are a little. We all have a little something that ticks us in the head. And but when you love those players, man, it lives on forever.
But Rob, we saw him grow up, dude. You know what I mean? Like he spent almost half of his life here.
Yeah.
So we literally saw him with no hair on his face. None. Remember his first playoff beard? Like, is that something on his cheek?
Little patchy over there, yeah.
You know, for 16 years or almost 16 seasons. I mean, he came here when he was 18. So I mean, there's a lot, and to see him grow up from that. You know, a bright-eyed kid, big-eyed kid from, outside of Buffalo to, the little trouble he got in, all right, to the MVP, to the 3 Stanley Cup championships. Like, that's when people have kids, like, that's what you see. And that he was our kid. He was especially the hockey community, and it grew because of him. Let's not get it twisted. Him and Taze and that whole crew, they grew the Chicago hockey community from 100%. That little niche group. To boom, and we'll never ever forget that one dude on WGN. He's like, he got the Blackhawks got black people watching hockey, and it just crossed all color boundaries, all socioeconomic boundaries.
Yeah,
and people were supporting. So it's I can guarantee you, and you may have been one of them. I'm not going to ask, but I guarantee you there was quite a few leakages.
Oh, I cried. I 100% cried. I have no shame in admitting that either. I absolutely cried. He got recognized initially in the Chelly, and everybody stood up on their feet, and I could feel my girlfriend look over at me and put her hand on my arm because she could see me starting to tear up. Like you said, I mean, I think especially too for me personally, right? Like my Blackhawks fandom journey really started in the summer going into Taves and Kane's rookie season when they won the lottery, because the reports that they were going to be back on TV in a limited capacity with WGN that first year. My older brother was living back with us in Chicago after being in the Army for a number of years. And my dad and my brother are diehard Blackhawks fans. They used to go to games in the 90s, and my dad's been to countless Blackhawks games. It was my way then of getting into hockey with them. And my earliest memories
up to the big leagues, like you, your dad, and your brother. I got it.
And my earliest memories of Blackhawks hockey are Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves. And that's what it was. So for me, it's like it was something I said on Four Feathers when Patrick Kane was traded to the Rangers even last season. It truly was all I've ever known in my fandom of Chicago Blackhawks. Right. Like, this is my fandom, is 88 and 19. So for he to come back, for the recognition to be there, it all kind of caught up that, like, hey, he was the last part of that golden era. It was him and Johnny down to the very end. And, it's cool to see Bedard coming in. I think Bedard took that day in and he knows he's figuring it out very quickly. That, like Brian said, I mean, that's what makes Chicago fans the best is the level of care that they have. But I mean, it was nostalgic, man. There was not many dry eyes in that place yesterday. It was a whirlwind. It was a time lapse, a time capsule, dare I say, of like you said, 3 different generations of Chicago Blackhawks hockey in one building, and it's something that we're never going to get again. Like that one game in a silo is something that's probably never going to happen again in the history of this organization, where you have that many greats in the building at the same time for a variety of reasons. And it was cool to say that, we were in attendance for it and got to see it in person.
Why do you think it just a Hawks fan, why do you think there was no taser? And I mean, it wasn't about Taze. It wasn't about, but that was his dude. You know what I mean? They were literally linked at the hip from contract, from years of length of contract to contract, compensation. Like they were linked. What are your thoughts as to why you think he didn't show up? Because I thought that was just kind of odd.
No, that's a fair point. I think Taves might be going through some medical treatments that we don't know. Truly, I think that's the reason he hasn't officially retired yet, but he's stepped away from hockey, because I truly think he does still want to play. But I think he needs to figure out if he physically can play and play at a high enough level where, and again, he like most great competitors, if you're not going to be able to play at your highest level, they don't want to play. So it's figuring out, if he's going to be able to play at that level. And 2, I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I don't know if this is how it works. But I wonder how much of it is, to AC's point here, a prideful gesture, maybe in the sense of, hey, I don't want to take any spotlight away from Kaner getting his return, right? Because Kaner didn't get the send-off like Johnny did, right? Where we knew it was his last game. And Kaner didn't get that. Kaner got traded. That last home game against the Golden Knights, where everybody thought he won it at the buzzer, was the last time he was a Blackhawk in the United Center. So we didn't know. Johnny got that send-off, and I think some of it might be Johnny not wanting to take away from the day for those two, for Chelios and ultimately for Kaner. I also wonder, though, if because he's not technically retired, if there's some technicality within like his contract or something that, like, dude, it's the middle of the NHL season. You technically shouldn't just be showing up places because you're a free agent. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I don't think it is. But I think some of it, too, might just be he's in the middle of figuring his health out, and, and he wanted to probably let those two have their day, because let's be honest, if 19 was in the building, that place would have gone even more crazy than it already did yesterday. Yeah. So I think that might have had something to do with it, too.
We talked last year in the offseason and said, what I thought it might have been a great idea to bring Kaner back. He's a free agent. I'm like, now you have Connor Bedard working with, probably, like Chelly said, he will go down as the greatest American-born hockey player ever. I 100%. Mean, how much better? What better teacher can you have, Patrick? Guy built similarly, not very big, criminally talented. That's how much talent they have, and they're both similar. And a lot of people said no, kind of let them forward. And I believe, and remind me, correct me if I'm wrong. And you said no, let them do their own thing and this and this. After seeing him yesterday, would you have liked to see Kaner and Bedard on the same team?
Yeah, I definitely think, hindsight being 2020, I think I've definitely changed my stance a little bit on what happened at the time, because at the time it was, well, we want to bring in new faces and new leadership group and all of this and all of that. And like, it was like, okay, it makes sense. Like, I get it. We might not like it, but like that was the message portrayed by the front office. Right. And then you see him come back healthy and how good he's playing. Right. He's a point per game player right now in Detroit. I mean, he's missed a little time with, he's been banged up a little bit. He was on the IR there for a couple of weeks, but I mean, after yesterday, it's what? I think he's 25 points in 25 games now or something like that with the Red Wings. I mean, he is a point per game player in Detroit right now, and a large reason why they're in one of the wild card spots in the Eastern Conference. In hindsight, he should have come back. I think in hindsight, the way they should have handled it was said, hey, Kaner, we'll trade you to the Rangers. Go try to win a cup with your buddy Artemi Panarin. Just go for it.
Man, yeah.
We're going to give you that opportunity. Go do it. But when you don't, if you don't win it, or if you do win it, or whatever happens, come back to us in the offseason and we'll get you that contract that makes you a Blackhawk for life. And I think that would have been great. I think even from anything, it would have even happened with, I think it would have just even helped with Bedard from a confidence standpoint, especially early in the season, right? When he was still getting his footing. I think he's got it figured out now. Connor's like, I know how to play in this game. But you can hear it and you can see it in the Chicago, fan base. Everybody goes, man, just imagine if Taylor Hall didn't get hurt. Imagine if they just gave him a weapon on his wing. And especially because he and Kane would play well together too, because I know a lot of people look at Connor Bedard and say, well, he's this overall phenomenal player. That's 100% truth. But when you compare him to a guy like Kane has been and always will be a pass first player. Like his assist numbers far outweigh his goal numbers for a reason, right? He obviously learned how to be a better shooter and all that. And that's why he won MVPs later in his career. But especially early on in his career, right? Like Kaner was the assist guy. He was the dish man. He was the setup guy. That would play in so well for a guy like Connor Bedard, who, if you look at his CHL numbers, he had one less goal than his assist totals with the Regina Pats, with 71 goals and 72 assists last year. He's a shooter. Like, he is a true shooter. And you can see it in that shot. That shot's disgusting. I mean,
it is.
He should have had a goal yesterday if it doesn't get tipped off of Nick Foligno and into the net, right? He gets a lot of his assists because he shoots. So I think they would have really complemented each other well. I think they would have looked awesome on the power play together. It would have been fun seeing Kane walk that right wing half wall while Bedard's chilling on the left circle like Ovechkin does and just waiting to rip a one-timer. But will we ever see it? I don't know. And honestly, it's a shame. And I think if there's one thing that this new look front office has done under the new ownership, obviously with Danny taking over the team, I think that's the one major critical mistake that they've made is how they've handled the 88 situation.
Yeah, I think about it a lot. And just imagine those two on a breakaway. Imagine those two in overtime. Imagine those two on a power play. It's just like.
See, but I'll tell you what, and it is one fair point that I have heard. Last season, if Patrick Kane stays a Blackhawk, there's probably a good chance they don't win the draft lottery, and Bedard's never a Blackhawk. So they had to trade him. But again, you could have brought him back in the season, and sure, yeah, everybody's like, cool, they're in the place for, they can get Macklin Celebrini. But if we're being honest, I would rather them pick 4 in this year's draft and have 88 than pick 1 again and, bring in a kid like Macklin Celebrini, who I still think is going to be a very good hockey player. But, you get that veteran and that crafty veteran like Patrick Kane back with still going to be a very young team. You're still going to have the likes of, Frank Nazar and, some of these guys maybe even coming up before the end of this season yet. And it would have been cool to see 88 playing alongside those guys. And I would love to see him come back. I saw the comment from AC saying you could still see Kane coming back to play with Connor Bedard one day. I think it's an outside opportunity, maybe for like a season to end his career when he's ready to kind of hang him up. Mm-hmm. But there's just something in the back of my head that tells me the next time we see Patrick Kane at the United Center again with 88 in a Blackhawk sweater is when it's going up in the rafters.
Yeah, I can see that because how old is Patrick Kane?
34, I think.
30. Yeah, I was just trying to.
Yeah, because he's an 88 birthday, so right, 34.
Yeah, 88 birthday. Yep. So he's 34, actually 35.
Or I think he just turned.
Yeah, November.
35?
In November, November 19th. Yeah, so he's 35. So he definitely has a couple years left. And if you watch the way he's playing. Like, yeah, he's not the Patrick Kane in the championship years, but the Patrick Kane of the championship years was so much more skilled than everybody. And so for him to regress, he would regress to like the superstars now. You know what I mean? Like he came back down to like human level, human superstar level, because what he would do with the puck and his ability to stick handle and you talk about his ability to pass. Second to none.
Well, and that's the thing with Kaner too, is like his game ages so much better than some of these other guys. Like his game aged better than a guy like Jonathan Toews, right? Jonathan Toews was a true two-way forward. He would go into the hard areas. He'd get beat up We saw it with Brent Seabrook. We saw it with guys like him. But then that's why Duncan Keith played as long as he did, because he didn't take a lot of hits. He knew how to finesse his way out of contact, and he would take care of his body. Kaner's very much the same way. And Kaner never really relied on, he never really relied on his speed. Like, yes, he had speed, obviously, but like that wasn't what his game was. He's not an up and down the ice, just balls to the walls kind of player in terms of speed. He's a finesse player. As long as his hands aren't regressing, which they have no sign of looking like it.
Definitely not.
I mean, he's the type of guy that could play till he's 40. And, maybe he's putting up, 45 points in 72 games because he misses a little bit of time by that point. But like, if the dude's still putting up 45 points a season as a 40-year-old, like every team in the league would take that from a guy like Patrick Kane. So, I mean, he looks good, man. He looks good. Seeing it in person yesterday too, like I was curious to see if he's kind of lost a step in the last year and a half. No, he looks like the same old Patrick Kane.
Man, dude, man, again, just a thought, man. Just the thought of those two together. Hey, listen, do me a favor. We're going to take a quick break. About a minute break, and you come back with us so we could talk about the team out in Mesa. All right, just saying some guy named Kevin Cody, something or other. I can't remember his name. They signed some guy,
some guy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good. But we'll talk about that signings. Hey guys, we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to switch to Cubs. Talk with Ron on the other side. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
To run for 17, back he goes, here comes Chubb, there goes the ball, touchdown, Mooney! Jones will walk at the left tackle, time for Fields, now he'll accelerate to get the first down, great tackles, and he's off to the races, and we got a terrific block.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 31.
Jones, shoot, save, rebound, save. Oh, look out to break it. Ahead for guess who? Patrick Kane. He's in. He scores. For a reason. He was looking after this rush right here. The drop pass there by Bedard. Bedard's open on the one side. The shot taken, shot rebound. But then the play by DeBrincat made it. And listen, Kane was out of gas. He would look like he was going to go for a line change. Ballman was there. And I thought him at one point here, see, he looked behind him, wanted to see how much time he had. And it's just got such slick hands. There's no way to find this puck off his tape. I mean, from a goalie's point of view, he's so slick with it. Look at that. Look at that. Now, special way to end it for Patrick Kane.
Man, welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Man,
we can keep talking about it if you want.
It's funny that we forget, and this is why sports is so awesome.
Yeah,
because and people think, oh, it's just because oh, you're just watching guys run up and down a court or on a field or skate up and down on ice. It's not that. It's about memories. When you talked about stepping into the big leagues, now it's you. It's now your dad, your brother, and you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you now you get to, you didn't get to go with them when you were younger, right? Because it was his mom, dad, and your big brother. Now, the moments that you create with dad and big brother those are the moments that you remember for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And
100%.
That's what it is. I mean, we're going to transition to a team, and I mean, they understand it too. Sox fans found out in 05. Cub fans relived it in 16. Like, you would go to a game. Who got you going to baseball games? Who got you watching a certain team? And then you watched it with them, and time again. How many times did we have losing seasons? You guys up until 2016, us until 05. And it was, for us, it was just like shitty team. Oh man, 05, shitty team. You know what I mean? You guys had at least had a couple, heartbreakers in 84 and in 03. All right, but at least you got further along. And those are the moments, the bonding moments that you build with family members and loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
They brought back a loved one the other day. Actually, yesterday, like 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me when you woke up. First of all, were you up? But two, if you weren't, when you found the news that Cody Bellinger was re-signed, dude, how fired up were you? Because it had taken like, dude, come on, hurry up. Just stop playing, get up. You're not getting $200 million. All right. I said start with 180. All right, give him 5 or 6 years. And they got him 3 for 80. Your thoughts when you heard the news?
Yeah, it's funny. So the Cubs on Tap crew was up, but Ron Luce was not. I was out cold when the news happened. So it was a long day, my girlfriend and I putting stuff together in our new place and everything like that. So we were tired. We went to bed and I didn't think much of it. And I wake up and my girlfriend gets up to let, the pup out, and she comes back and lays down and goes, "Have you looked at your phone by chance?" I go, "No, why?" And she's like, "Bellinger's a Cub." I'm like, "What?" So I frantically grab my phone. I look,
where's it at?
34 unread text messages. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is happening? People are asking me, is it true? I'm like, well, Passan said it's true. It's got to be true. And it came through. And ironically, it came through because if you're operating on the time where he signed, which is in Arizona, because he lives out in Arizona, it was like 11 something in Arizona on 2/24. So number 24 resigns on the 24th, appropriately. Exciting. Honestly, this is the perfect deal, I think, for both player and team.
I do too.
I think for the Cubs, it was never about dollars. Like everybody kept saying, like, Ricketts doesn't want to spend money and Ricketts doesn't want to do this. No, Jed Hoyer has made it very clear that they don't want to lock guys in for 10 years. That's just not what they're in the business of doing right now. Mm-hmm. And it was never about the dollars. He got his dollars. He's making $30 million for the next 2 years if he wants to.
Not bad.
Yeah, not too shabby.
He's not going to be in the WIC line anytime soon.
No. He's getting the AAV that he wants. The problem is just they didn't want to dish out the term. They got him at a term that really works right now for what they have coming up in the prospect pool, what they have in the present in terms of what he brings to the lineup. This is the perfect transition contract with a guy like Cody Bellinger, where my humble opinion, it's probably ends up becoming a 2-year deal. I think he does opt in for year 2 because I don't think he's going to get $30 million in next year's group of free agents because it's a really good free agent class next year and he might get overshadowed a little bit. I think he takes the 2 years. I think the 2 at 30 is he opts in for year 2. I think he opts out after year 2 and then hits the market in what would have been that year 3 because he'll be 30 going on 31 by then. So he'll still be in that prime age to get another big contract in terms of Major League Baseball. So honestly, Shawn, a perfect contract at the end of the day. You at least got him for 1 more year, probably for 2. Worst case scenario, you got him for 3. And it's the prime of his career. He's 28 years old. Like he's going to play his best baseball in theory if you go based on, the prime athletic ability of a human being. It was the icing on the cake of what I already thought was a pretty successful offseason. And this team looks ready to run, man. And I was already excited for opening day. My new place of residence will be approximately a 30-minute walk down Clark from Wrigley Field for the summer. I'm even more excited now because he's back. He's back.
Yeah.
He completes the lineup. It really looked like everybody said, they were like, man, this lineup would just look really good with Cody Bellinger in it. And they got it. They got it done. And, now Cubs fans can breathe a little easy, and the rest of the Boris clients can all go stress out because they're not signed before we get into March here. It's crazy to think Friday's already March 1st.
Unbelievable. So is it fair to say if the Cubs won the standoff?
I don't think anybody won, if that makes sense. I don't think there really was much of a standoff. I think the Cubs went to Boris and said, we will give you the AAV. We will not give you the term. And if you want to get creative, we can do that. Because if you look at every contract the Cubs gave out this offseason, they were all creative. Shota's was creative. Neris's was creative. Like any of the big signings they made, they were all creative signings. I think they said, we'll get creative with you if you want. We'll give you the AAV. We'll give you the $30 million a year, but we are not going on the term. We're not giving you 8 years. We're not giving you 9 years. We're not giving you any of this crazy nonsense. We'll give you, they probably initially said, we'll give you 5. And he might have balked at that initially. And they said, okay, well, we can talk, but we're willing to give you the AAV. I think then eventually it got to the point where Belly might have whispered to Boris and said, hey, look, man, you know what? Let's go try to get that AAV, right? Let's just go get that guaranteed money right now. Boom, done. Let's go get it. And I'll continue to prove people that I've fixed everything and I'm not the Bellinger we saw in 21 and 22. And that way I can hit the market again and get that big contract, whether it's in Chicago, whether it's somewhere else. And I think both sides were very happy. I think Jed was like, you want opt-outs every year? Yeah, that's fine. We don't care. We'll give them to you. No problem. Because we'll give you the $30 million for year 2. Because if you really think you're going to get more than 30 and after year 2, you're probably crazy. I think they went into it looking at it saying, this is probably a 2-year deal. Worst case scenario, it's a 3-year deal. And you get probably some of the best years of Cody Bellinger. So I think it's a win for both sides. I don't really think there was much of a standoff, truthfully. I think it was, they had one initial discussion. The Cubs said, all right, well, when you guys are ready to talk to us, come back to us and we'll talk. And Boris just tried to outweight people. Boris has lost his sense of being the smartest man in the room. Because now the information that he probably once brought to teams that got his free agents paid big money, everybody has access to those same statistics now and has access to all the statistics, not just the ones that Boris wants to show. So I think, he's starting to learn that he's going to have to give in for some of these guys. And I think we could see very similar contracts dished out to Blake Snell, to Jordan Montgomery, and to Matt Chapman at the end of the day too, now that Bellinger signed.
Yeah, it completes so how excited are you? So now you got, Dansby Swanson, you got, and now you got his buddy. He mentioned it yesterday. He was excited. He wanted him back. And now you got this big left-handed stick in the middle of the lineup. He can play center. Obviously, I mean, he's pretty good. He won a gold something or other out there. Yeah. He's not bad in at first base as well. Or he can also be DH. You know what? You don't feel like you need a day off, but you still want to get into it. Cool. Put you DH. You come up every 45 minutes or so, and half hour, 45 minutes, you bat, and how excited are you as a Cub fan now? Because now you got your guy back. You got a lot of young talent. You got a lot of prospects in the minors as well. That like you said, if it's a 2-year deal, man, that's another year and a half for these guys to simmer and to develop and to, to come up. And what if it is a 3-year deal? And now some of these youngsters come up with this guy. How happy are you right now, 2024, look as a Cub fan, looking forward to this season, but also the future?
This season, I'm incredibly excited. I'm excited about the future as well. I think they have a lot of really good prospects that are going to pan out. I think there's a lot of these guys that won't pan out. That's just the nature of the beast. Let's call it what it is, right? You're going to have, I always say this on Cubs on Tap, and everybody laughs at me, but it's true. A prospect's a prospect until he's not a prospect anymore. Yeah. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's just the case, right? And they have a lot of talent, though, right? Like, all these guys are talented, whether they pan out or not. And I think having an abundance of talent in the minors, having a talented baseball team at the major league level as well. 24 is an exciting year, man, because, you see it time in and time out, right? Like, most teams are going to use probably 50 players this year, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. Injuries, guys go through a rough stretch. Maybe they got to get sent down. Guys come up. We'll probably see PCA at some point this season. It won't be opening day now that Bellinger's signed, but we'll see him. He'll be up at some point or another. Somebody will get hurt inevitably, and he'll need to come up and and play a role. I think we could see a guy like Matt Shaw this year, especially if he rakes in the minors, just like he did, after he was drafted last year. There's a couple of these kids, even Owen Casey, I think, is a guy that we could see that has an outside chance of making an impact on this team. So, this year's really going to be the first year that we get that blend. I think we get the competitive team at the major league level with the major league ready talent, right? The Nikos, the Ian Happs, the Seiya Suzuki's, the Cody Bellingers, the Dansby Swansons of the world. You get a flare of some of these up and comers, the Michael Busch, right? Guy they just went out and got to play first base.
Mm-hmm.
A young, really good player in the Dodgers system who just needs an opportunity because they have a freaking infield full of Hall of Famers. So he comes over now and has an opportunity to do some damage. And then we're probably going to see a sprinkle of the rest of that youth. We're going to see Jordan Wicks. We're going to see probably Cade Horton at some point this season. Probably see Ben Brown, most likely out of the bullpen at some point this season. So it's going to be a cool year of like the future, that first glimpse of the future, while having a competitive team. Like this feels to me very much like last year's team very much felt like 2014 in a lot of ways for Cubs fans. There's a lot of parallels. This year is going to feel like 2015 to, I think, a lot of people. A lot of people said last year felt like 2015. I disagree because it was not as many of these big like prospects coming up per se to hit with the team. It was a lot of guys that were homegrown talents that have already developed and just all came together at the right time. I think we're going to get a resemblance of the 2015 team this year because we'll see some of these top prospects come up and have to make a big impact at the major league level because injuries are inevitable. And, we're going to see some of these guys this year and it'll just be that little taste. And if they're really competitive and they make the playoffs and they make a little bit of a run, then everybody's going to be on high alert going into 25 because this team looks ready to run. They really look ready to run from not just a 1 year and done type thing or a 2 year and done type thing, but for realistically a competitive window of the next 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years because of what they have in the pipeline and how they continue to draft talent every single year during the summertime.
You guys, we're joined by Ron Luce from the OnTap Sports Net. Now we're talking Cubs baseball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Before we let you go, what about Morel, Christopher Morel? The kid is really, really talented, and he just never really found a spot for him. He was a third yesterday. Mm-hmm. Where do you see his spot being? Is it going to be in third? And if it is, how big of a jump do you see him? Because people may not understand, like when you're settled, when you're as a coach, when you give a guy a role, when you give a player a role, doesn't matter what it is. It could be the biggest role on the team. I need you to score 20 points. I need you to throw 3 touchdowns. I need 100 yards. I need you to block the best defensive. Or it could be, I need you to just come and hit 3-pointers. I need you to play defense. I just need you to set the edge. Whatever it is, when you give someone a role, they get comfortable. They can go all in 100% because this is all they're asking me to do. Nothing more, nothing less. This is my job. If he's there, how big of a role do you see him, or how big of an impact and jump do you see him at the plate? Because once you're comfortable, especially in the field, because usually you say, okay, don't bring that to the plate, and sometimes it does, especially for younger players. But if he's settled, how good can this kid be? Because man, he's pretty freaking talented, man.
He is pretty freaking talented, and he's a guy that I'm super excited to watch this year, Shawn, because if you look at his splits last year, and I'm in the process of pulling him up, here he is. The Cubs like to continue to move him around on the listing from infield to outfield on the roster. But last year, you look at what positions he played in 2023. He played 3 games at second base. Yeah, these are just total games. So this is not necessarily starts, but 3 games at second base, a game at third base, 3 games at shortstop, 2 games in left field. He played a number of games and then he DH'd for a ton of games. He, like you said, really didn't have a role. And even without having a role on this team last year, Christopher Morel still managed, without even playing a full season, because, they decided to keep him in Iowa and let him hit 11 home runs before they decided to call him up. This guy still went out and put up just an incredible season. He only played 107 games last year, 26 homers. That was tied for the Cubs team lead. And that was just at the major league level. He had another 11 in the minors. So he was a 37 home run player last year over the course of the season between the 2 levels. Shawn, I think he's destined for a 40 home run season. I really do. And he's going to play every single day. And I think that was one of the first things that most Cubs fans were excited about when Counsell was hired. And his comments on Morel was he needs to be in the lineup every day. We're going to find a place for him and he's going to play. And he's shown he can play third base. I think he looks fantastic at third. I mean, he made a nice play yesterday. His problem was everybody was like, well, he doesn't look comfortable at third because he was constantly being moved around. Like he never had a home in his now this will be his third full season coming in with the Cubs. Now that they know he's going to be the third baseman, I think that pretty much zaps any Matt Chapman possibility. He's going to be your everyday guy at third. He's going to get those reps every day now in spring training. And I'm ready for him to lead the team in home runs this year, Shawn, because I think he's putting 40 balls. He's putting 40 balls out of the stadium. And I think the Cubs are going to have 3 guys that hit over 30. Morel being one of them. I think he gets to the 40 home run plateau. I think Seiya Suzuki hits 30 this year. And I think Cody Bellinger, healthy Cody Bellinger gets 30 this year as well. And then you're going to have guys like Ian Happ and Swanson and some of these other Michael Busch as well that probably give you 20 to 25 legitimately this year. This was the 6th best offense in baseball last year, Shawn. And that's without the additions that they've made and without guys taking another step forward. As long as they can stay healthy, this could be a top 4 offense in baseball this year. And, you know, the guys over at Sox on Tap at OnTap Sportsnet like to say it. NWI Steve is a big fan of the saying, and I'm a big fan of it too. The ball goes far, the team goes far. And I think we're going to see a lot of long balls at Wrigley this year. And it's going to be a good Cubs team, man. But Christopher Morel is going to be, if that guy takes that next developmental step, like I think he will this year, Shawn, he might quickly become one of the faces of this franchise for the next 4 or 5 years into the future.
Dude, last question before we let you go, and that's sucks because you know I'm a diehard Sox fan, you know, but F my White Sox right now. I'm not very happy with them at all.
Understand. Hey, I got a lot of friends that say they won't go to games. They won't give Jerry money right now. So I respect it. I don't judge. In fact, I feel for White Sox fans because I was a fan of the Cubs when 2011 and 2012 happened. I remember Paul Maholm being trotted out onto the mound when this team was rebuilding. So I can sympathize. I do. Truly, I do.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Although I did just make the call. I am going to opening day. I wasn't going to go, and I was talking to Southside Zoe the other day. He was on the show Friday, and he was just like, "Look, dude," he goes, he goes, "We have talent," and I'm like, "Yeah, we do. We still got Lou Bob, we got Vaughn, we got Eloy, we got Yo-Yo." I'm like, "Man, we still got Benintendi." I said, "Okay, we got talent. We got Dylan Cease. You know, thank you again for him, guys. That we're just wasting his career." We probably should have just given back to you, but that's neither here nor there.
Chris Flexen in your rotation. Awesome.
He's like, but he goes, there's no expectations. He goes, so there's not. I'm like, okay. He goes, there could be a major league thing here, or maybe depending, you know, I was like, okay. So he sold me on, you know, he sold me some swampland, and I'm like, all right, fine. So I call my guy who gets tickets. And I'm like, all right, dude, put me down for 2.
I like it.
Opening day. So
hey, I hope you enjoy yourself. Have a beer for me because that's the day after my birthday. So I got to wait till April 1st for Cubs opening day because they start the season on the road. So that first weekend I'll be gearing up for our opening day. But yeah, man, no, it'll be good. I hope Lou Bob hits a home run, and I hope the first play of the game is a walk, and then you get to see the Paul DeYoung, Nicky Lopez double play combo up the middle. Turn 2 for you guys in the first inning.
Last question before we let you go, Papa, and I really appreciate your time today. How excited are you with Counsell, you know, leading the ship? You know, he was one of the best managers in Major League Baseball. Arguably, some people say he is the best manager in baseball. And now he's running the ship. Now he's running the ship with a mixture of players that is pretty ideal. You want your veterans, your savvy veterans, your producing veterans, but you also want your youngsters who are extremely talented to play with a whole bunch of producing veterans, because now you get to learn the game. Now you get to watch, you know, I mean, let's just call a spade, superstars in action. You get to watch real professional. You get to watch Cody Bellinger on a daily basis. I know you did last year too, but now you also have another guy at the top, and you get to watch Dansby guys. How excited are you to have Counsell leading this ship moving forward?
Incredibly excited. And I think there's a number of reasons to that. One, he took a lineup that more often than not trotted out only 3 players that were considered above average in terms of OPS last season in the major leagues to win a division last year. That was William Contreras, that was Christian Yelich, and that was Frelick when he came up and started to play more. Every other player in that lineup was below average. They had a lot of 600 plus OPS guys in that lineup and still managed to win enough games to win the NL Central. On top of that, I think Counsell just has a really good sense. He has a good game sense, and he's gotten to the chance to hone it and perfect it in Milwaukee over the years because he had no choice but to work with what he was given. They're a small market team, and he made it happen. And, I think I don't want to use the comparison to Joe Madden because I don't think that's the right comparison here. I think they're two very different managers. But the two things that make me most excited when it comes to Counsell, one, there was a number of games last year on Cubs on Tap where myself and whoever my other co-hosts were, or even if I wasn't on the show and it was Juice or it was Nick or it was Joey or it was Tyler, talking about the game, we'd always say, oh, remember this one at the end of the year when we missed the playoffs because they lost a 1-run game because of a bonehead decision. There was like 10 of those last year, maybe even more, maybe 15 of those last year. Even if you get half of those. Well, and even if you get half of those to go the other way, Shawn, the Cubs were in the playoffs, right? They missed by 1 game. And I think he's going to help clean that up a lot because of his in-game decision-making. I think it's very good. I think he has a good feel for a bullpen and who to trust in what moments based on who's fresh and things of that nature. But then on top of that, he's also a guy that has proven he can manage and win games while still developing talent at the major league level. And I think that was the one glaring issue that the Cubs were going to have with David Ross at the helm. And I think that's why they went out and made the move that they did. I think they would have been happy to keep Ross, but I think you would have seen a lot of stress and a lot of kind of focus externally outside the Cubs organization on how does David Ross develop talent at the major league level while still trying to win games, because we saw it last year, right? I'm here to win games. I'm not here to develop the young guys. Yeah. And I think Counsell gets that you need to be able to do a little bit of both in order to win games because you're going to rely on that youth at some point. And I think that's the biggest difference with Counsell. And that's the $40 million difference with Counsell, in my humble opinion. So I'm excited for it. I truly am. He was a guy that I always said in Milwaukee, I was like, I hate that franchise. I hate everything about them, but damn it, Craig Counsell's a good manager and it pisses me off. It's really nice seeing him in the right shade of blue now on the north side of Chicago. And I hope we truly see that difference that he has brought to Milwaukee for the better part of the last decade. And I think Cubs fans will. And I think he could be a huge reason. I mean, this team is better than it was a year ago. They won 83 games with an inexperienced manager. You have an experienced manager who, like you said, right, is widely considered one of the best in the game, a better team, a team that has developed as a group after a year together. They learned what they need to do and not need to do in order to compete. I think it's a team that can win 90 games this year, Shawn. I really do. And I'm super stoked about that because if they win 90 games, we're going to some playoff baseball in October on the north side. And it's been a hot minute. And I've never been to a Cubs postseason game. So I'm hoping this is the first year we can change that up and attend one finally.
Guys, he's Ron Luce. He's from the On Tap Sports Net. Great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Do me a favor before you go. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work and your podcasts online.
Yeah, at Luce on Tap on the socials is the best place you can find me. I'm incredibly active on the old X app, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's like the Sears Tower, Shawn. We just still call it Twitter. At On Tap Sportsnet on the socials as well. OnTapSportsNet.com is where you can find all my writing as well as our podcasts. You can subscribe, wherever you find us. Four Feathers podcast, Cubs on Tap, Sox on Tap, Bears on Tap, Bulls on Tap, the whole 9 yards. We got it all over at OnTapSportsNet.com. So go check it out there and check out what's on tap in Chicago sports. And as always, Shawn, man, I appreciate you. This is always a blast. I'm glad we were able to make this work, and it's cool because we got 2 teams in today. And we got to talk about that. Oh, one just quick departing note for you here, and I don't mean to do this to send you off on a tangent because I'm sure you're going to talk about this team in the show today. The Bears are taking Caleb Williams at number 1. That's just what I'm going to say as we walk out here. I don't like it. I like Justin Fields. I hope Justin succeeds in his NFL career. I really do. I love Justin Fields. I love him dearly. That's just what my hunch tells me. And Shawn, I've gotten to the point in my life as a Bears fan where It's no longer about the names on the back of the jerseys. It's no longer about who was picked where. I just want a freaking Super Bowl in the city of Chicago, and whatever means necessary is whatever means necessary. And I hope that's what happens, because if it's wrong, then this is why at least I have the Cubs to keep me happy this year, because the other teams are inevitably going to piss me off.
That's right, because you didn't see the 85 one. That was way before your time, because I was 14. I was 14, and then they had us in 06, but
they did.
Yeah.
Well,
we're gonna agree to disagree. I think they're gonna take a haul, and I'm telling you, whoever they trade with is still gonna be crappy. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get a haul, they get Marvin Harrison Jr.
and another
they get
top
5 pick, another top 5 pick next year.
Maybe.
Yes, right. Hey, so my guy, it was so funny. My guy that I was texting one of the guys I was at the game last night texted me, said him and his boys they saw Ryan Poles at the game yesterday, and he said they were going up in the elevator when Poles was walking down the stairs.
That's funny.
And he's like, "What are you gonna do, Ryan? What are you gonna do?" And he said he just smiled. And then my guy's like, "He goes, we want Justin Fields. Keep Justin Fields. Keep Justin Fields." He said he just smiled and laughed and just shrugged his shoulders. I'm like, at least you got him. At least you told him. So, but we'll see, man. We'll see how it plays out the next couple of weeks. And I think a lot's going to happen within this week at the combine. So it's going to be pretty fun to see how all these reports. And now Peter King is saying that the Bears are trading the number 1 pick. That came out yesterday or this morning. So we'll see. And then I don't think anyone really knows except him. And if he even, I truly think he knows what he's doing. But obviously, here's what I will say. He is putting on a master's class on how to be a GM.
100%.
A master's class. I am madly now nothing. Now, if you notice the local reporters, like, my intuition is this, or my interpretation is this, or other guys, I'm hearing from other guys who don't know shit are hearing, just like me, are saying. And it's not like I got confirmed sources to say this. Now it's like, well, I'm hearing from other guys who are other guys. They heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another friend. And
Ryan Poles took a page out of Jed Hoyer's book and keeps everything very close to the vest.
Very, very close. So it's gonna be fun the next couple of weeks, man. But again, thanks, Ron. Great stuff, man. We'll have you on soon again, Paul.
Sounds good, man. Take care. It's good to see you, Shawn. Take it easy.
All righty, thanks. Guys, that's Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net, man. Getting 2 teams in with me today, and I love it. So listen, don't go anywhere, folks. We're gonna switch up to Bears talk. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Off the fake. Fields against the grain. Finds Jesse James. Field with time. Delivers down the field. Make one way. Fields stumbling. Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
Do you know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Better be a home run trade, because the players will be saying, wait, we were cool with Justin. We supported Justin. We thought Justin had a really bright future. If you trade him, you're going to have to deal with the potential wrath of the locker room and the initial blowback. But also, if it doesn't work out, Mel, the locker room will be very...
Well, we're adding to that locker room with Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Let's just bring what we're doing here by moving. If we draft Caleb, we don't get Marvin. We don't get Odunze. We don't probably get Neighbors. We don't get any of the top 3 receivers at 9. Okay? more than likely 9's not going to get you one of those guys.
Yeah.
So we had DJ Moore. We need another receiver. Now we got Justin getting the big timer, and we're getting another first. All right. And we're getting a second round pick. So we're getting things going here by making that trade for Justin to get the help he needs.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of ESPN. That was Mel Kiper and Field Yates. Man, no one. We just got done talking with Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net, talking. Actually, we got to talk 3 sports, actually. So we got to talk a little Blackhawks. He was at the Hawks game yesterday with the Chris Chelios ceremony, retirement ceremony, which was also the Patrick Kane return game to the United Center. Then we talked a little Cubs. He does the Cubs on tap for them and how excited he is. It just disgusts me how excited Cub fans are. And they should be. They should be for this season, but it just disgusts me. Oh man. And then we talked a little Bears, because he also does Bears on tap as well. But now we're gonna get into some Bears talk. And you know what? I'm excited about it. It's crazy, nobody knows. Nobody knows. David Arroyo, what's up, Papa? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Who you talking? Eddie G, Eddie Gutierrez. Yeah, let me know. But I'm looking forward to how this is going to play out. It's happened similarly last year. After the combine, he came out and talked about that they were trading the first pick to Carolina. So is that what's going to happen? Is that what's going to happen? They're going to come out and, trade the first pick again. That's what I think is happening. I'm waiting. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. I'm telling you, it's people are going to be mad. People are going to be so livid. Okay. When this happens, I don't even know what to tell them. I don't even know what to tell them. I'll figure something out. Believe you me, I will definitely be talking a lot of ish, because what they've done, what the Caleb cultists have done. I mean, they've really divided the fan base by their arrogance, by their, by the name calling. And don't get me wrong, we have some Justin Fields followers as well. Good morning, James. And they're doing the same thing, and we got to stop that. We got to stop that. All right. But it just seems like the Caleb cult members are just crazy. So, yeah, I'll be talking a lot of ish. I might even have. I was telling Nomad on my other show. But don't forget, tune in today at 3:00. It'll be on my personal page. The football show that Nomad and I do with Keith Harris, who's in the chat here as well, and Brian. I might. Some people may not like me. I might lose friends in the press box, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Excuse me. It's what I feel, and it's the way. I don't know. They just made it very insufferable. The personal attacks on Justin is like, come on, man. David Kaplan calling him a coward. It's a cowardly thing to do. It's like, come on, bro. Like, you crossed the line. It's so. I don't know. I'm just not happy with the way that has been handled. I'm just not happy the way it was been handled. But here's some of the. Excuse me. Wow, I went down the wrong pipe. Shoot, you figure after 50 plus years of living, you know how to drink some tea. Think you know how to do that, but I'm just playing. Here's what some of the things we want to talk about. I want to talk about. Starts today, the combine, and some things came up, and I thought we were going to be able to get down there, and we got rejected for the credentials. I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine. It happens. I'm okay with it. So unfortunately, we're not going to be down there. So trust me, next year we'll get down there, get on Radio Row, down at the Super Bowl. We'll get down to, and we'll be down at the Combine. So a lot of big things coming for Sports Zone Chicago. We're looking forward to bringing you that type of coverage from down there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But here's some of the things that, I wanted to look at. All right. These are some of the possibilities. Look at some trade. There's a lot of trade talks. And you know what? People have really backed up off of Caleb's the generational talent. Caleb is the next best thing since this. Now he might not even be the best quarterback in the draft or taken first. But here's what some of the trade proposals are for the Bears. Because I'm telling you, I truly believe that they're going to trade the number 1 pick so they can trade with the Washington Commanders. Perfect. I think that'd be the perfect thing. The Bears get their first round pick number. They just swap places is basically what happens. All right. But then they'll get their second round pick they got from Montez Sweat. They'll get Washington's second round pick, and they'll get a third round pick, a compensatory pick. Okay. This is just a proposal. So don't be like, oh, that's stupid. Oh, no. Like, relax. These are just proposals. All right. I don't like this proposal, because they don't get next year's first. Here they're getting 4 assets. I told you, I'm okay with 3 assets, but one of them has to be the 2025 first round pick. Okay. 2025 first round pick. We'll swap. Okay. So that's technically 1 pick. This is number 2 overall pick. Give me next year's first and this year's second. Give me back my second. And I'm happy because we can maneuver later down the road. Okay. Here's another one with the New England Patriots. They're at number 3. So the Bears get giving up their first pick. They'll get New England's first. So number 3 overall. They get New England's second, which is the top of the number 2 overall pick in the second round. They're going to get the 2025 first round pick. I like that kind of party. And a 2026 third round pick. Okay, and the Patriots will get the number 1 overall pick, and it says, they pay a 26% premium to move up 2 spots. This one I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot. Reason being, I like next year's first round pick, and here's why I'm telling you why I like next year's first round pick. As I was talking to Ron, is this. Patriots aren't going to be good next year. Commanders aren't going to be good next year. There's a chance we can get another top 5 pick after this year or next draft. So think about the improvements that we're anticipating our Chicago Bears making. Okay? Think about that improvement. So we're going to be picking 24, 25, 27. Okay? And still have a top 5 pick. Still a top 5 pick. James, what's up? Shawn, explain to me why Caleb doesn't have an agent. That I don't know, Papa. That I don't know. A lot of agents, a lot of players, or a few players, not a lot. A few players that, obviously the Lamar thing. He said he wanted save that money and give it to, his mom or whatever. And I get it, but let's keep it a buck. Like, there's certain things that your agent talks to you about. Certain things that your agent does to prep you for the draft, prep you for the interviews, and to not have one, because I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't have an agent. All right. I don't know why. I mean, I guess because here's one take. You can't negotiate the money. All right. They're locked in. So the amount of money he's going to get, it's locked in how much he's going to make. Okay. The only thing that'll change will be the fifth year option, depending. They got to project it, as it's going to change as that time gets closer. So why give up an agent's fee, which is like 2 or 3%? Why give that up when you don't have to? Because the money that you're going to make is already set. All right, it's a percentage higher than last year's number 1 overall pick or number 2 overall pick or number 3 overall pick, whatever it is. I don't know, 3%, 5%, 8%, whatever. So he's like, well, if I can't negotiate any more money, what's the point? So you see that? Now on his second deal is where he'll need the agent to go in and talk to people, and if he's a free agent or negotiate with the team, I think that would be good. I mean, unless he wants to do the Lamar Jackson thing, that's possible. But we'll see. That's what I think. So that's my thought process. All right. So we looked at the Washington Commanders. We looked at the New England Patriots. Here's one. This one was pretty interesting to me. I like this one. I really like this one. All right. Atlanta's at number 8. They give us their first round pick, which is number 8. They also give Bijan Robinson, which I don't think they'll do. Okay. Because you got some wide receivers, a tight end and a wide receiver, and I think you would keep the running back. But let's look at it. 2024 first round pick, get Bijan Robinson, the 2024 third round pick. So we still don't have the second yet. Get next year's 2025. We get that first round pick, which is what I need, and a 2026 second round pick. All right, but we give up the number 1 overall pick, but we also give up Khalil Herbert, which I would do in a heartbeat. And nothing against Khalil Herbert, but Bijan Robinson behind our offensive line running the ball, him and Roschon Johnson, I'm taking that all day, twice on Sunday. All right, because at number 8, you're going to get one of those wide receivers. I think 3 quarterbacks go in that 8. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Okay. Marvin Harrison Jr. All right. We would lose out on him, which would suck, but he's going to go. Okay. Is Gerard Verse going? Is Olu going? Okay. And even if one of those receivers goes, that's 7. You got Romeo Dunze or I can't even think of the other wide receiver now. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Malik Neighbors with number 8, which I'm cool with. So I still want to get Marvin Harrison Jr., but I'd be more than happy to come off of him if we get more draft picks. So we'll see. And then there's one with the Giants. All right, we swap places. We get the number 6 overall pick. So now we got a really good shot of getting a really good receiver. All right, we get a second round pick this year, top of the draft. It's number 39. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8th pick in the second round. We get a third round pick in this year's draft. We get a 25 and first round pick because they're coming up a lot. They're coming up 5 spots. I'm okay with this one too. I want Marvin Harrison Jr., but God bless it. The amount of picks, you got your second round pick back. You got a third round pick this year. And if this happens, yeah, I'm okay with this. I really am. I still think that the double trade back is in full effect, which is why I would be more than happy if only taking 3 assets from Washington. So you don't mortgage for Caleb Williams, okay? And it makes sense. All right, you're going to want draft picks to build around this guy. So he can't give you can't give you the farm. But give me 3 assets. Okay? This year's first, next year's first, next year, and this year's second. Actually, I probably want 4 assets. Because I don't call swapping, I don't call that an asset. Because technically, I mean, it is, because you could trade a first pick for a 5th round pick, which would never happen, but you can still do that. So that's why they say that. For my 3 would be not the number 2 overall pick with Washington, because you're going to get that. For my 3 would be this year's first. I'm sorry. This year's second, next year's first, and possibly next year's second, or a defensive player. Because I know you can do that. You can do that again with the number 2 slot. And especially, believe me, after Caleb Williams is gone or whoever, wouldn't it be crazy if, and this is how the NFL works. Watch this. Watch this. What if Caleb isn't the first quarterback taken? What if Jaden Daniels or Drake May is the first quarterback taken? Okay. I mean, if Washington goes to number 1, they're taking Caleb. I talked about it, the financial aspect of it, the local kid, it makes sense. Cool. What if they go to New England? People are going to be jumping up. I mean, we'd be at 3. I think we stay there for Marvin Harrison Jr. And I saw this trade, and I've done one mock in my life. And that was with Nomad. But this is a good pick. I like this draft a lot. It's trade with Washington. You get Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, so obviously there's a trade to get us to 15. Maybe we trade back from 9. Okay. Jackson Powers Johnson, I'm okay with that. You got Kareem Kitchens, the safety from Miami. I'm okay with that. Here's where I got a little weird. It got a little weird for me. You got Zach Frazier. He's another center. But I think Jackson Powers, JPJ can play guard as well. So I don't know why you get 2 centers. But it makes sense, I guess, because you want the versatility. Then you got Devondre Sweat. That's your one technique to rotate with Billings. Then you got Xavier Leggett, another wide receiver, kid out of South Carolina. I like his game a lot. Brendan Rice added just more depth in the wide receiver room. Jared Wiley, tight end out of TCU. I'll take that. All right, Layden Robinson, another guard. Tyke Smith. I'm not familiar with him very much as a safety, and Tommy Eichenberg, linebacker, special teams guy for now. I'm okay with this draft. I'm okay. I am okay because we got help. We solidified our center position with not 1 but 2 guys. We also have guys who can play guard. So if, for whatever reason, Tevin Jenkins gets hurt or Nasty Nate gets hurt. But I like the influx, the excess of wide receivers. I like the Marvin Harrison Jr. I like the Xavier Leggett. And I like the Brendan Rice. That puts everybody on notice. Darnell Mooney, you want to sign here? Bayless Jones, this is definitely your last chance. Definitely your last chance. I'd like that draft. Falcons trade me no 2nd-round pick for the Bears. Right. And that's what I think they would do with this the second time they trade. That's why I think if they go 1 to 2, cool. There's gonna be a lot more action coming up once they get the second one. Yeah, I don't know who did that. I forgot who it was. And I was just scrolling. I was like, oh, I like that. Thank you, AC. Thank you. So it's definitely going to be exciting this week because what are you saying? Every time I see breaking news, I got to check it out because of the industry we're in, and we got to check it out. This is what's going to happen, Papa. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Bears are keeping a pick. They're keeping Justin Fields, trading that pick, and they're getting a haul. They're getting that haul. And I wouldn't be surprised, J2K, Walls of Jericho, if they trade the first pick and they trade back from the 9th pick. Would not be surprised at all. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if they didn't trade back from the 9th pick. Because you don't know how no one ever knows how the draft's going to go. Someone always throws a monkey wrench in there. Always. Remember when Ryan Pace drafted Adam Shaheen in the 2nd round? You're like, what? Somebody always throws a monkey wrench in there. So it's going to push some good players down. So from 9, if you can still get a good receiver, but if you trade back to 12 or 13, 13 is my semi-hard limit. But 15 is my absolute limit. I'm not going past 15. There's still a lot of value there at 15. Still a lot of value. I'd love to be able to get Marvin Harrison Jr. I'd love it. I'd love it. But if we get more picks, I'm okay. I'm okay with losing him if we get more picks this year. Yeah. And we're going to go, I believe Danielle Hunter is going to be a top priority at the other defensive end. The mocks are actually simulating 3 trade downs in the first 10 picks. It's possible, dude. It's possible. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 1 to 2, 2 to 5, then trade 9 back to 12 or 13. Man, pick up 3 or 4 more picks, 5 more picks. You get 5 more picks, man. You within this year or next year, get a couple picks this year. I'm telling you, the way Ryan Poles has drafted, I am extremely impressed. I am completely confident in his ability to draft. And I apologize to a dude online. They were talking about what's Poles' biggest mistake, and he said the Velus Jones thing, and I'm like, well, he doesn't make up for it for the Braxton Jones thing. And the guy's like, no, I was asked the question, what's his big mistake? And I'm like, you know what, you're right. I'm not going to be a troll. I'm not going to be a dude. That's you specifically answered the question. But Ryan Poles' biggest mistake with Velus Jones, that could be rectified if Velus Jones has a good season. That could be erased if Shane Waldron finds the proper way to use Velus Jones. So, Cornelius, and this is what we're talking about. It's deep. Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, Keon Coleman from Florida State. Keon Coleman's a big dude. Was he 6'3", 6'4"? He's slight in build, but he's 6'4", go up and get the ball. Man. So the Bears are they're in a great position. So the one thing that I just want, I want, it's not going to happen, but I would love for our fan base to come together. I really would. Remember when Moses part of the Red Sea? That was cool. That's funny. Javon Baker. So what do you think we need on defense? I'm telling you, I think Ryan Poles in the trade, if he gets Washington, he's going to ask for Deron Payne. He's going to ask for Jonathan Allen. He's going to ask for Terry McLaurin. He's going to ask for one of them boys. And he one of them boys. If we get Scary Terry, I'm definitely more comfortable losing Marvin Harrison Jr. if we get Scary Terry McLaurin. I'm more comfortable losing him. I don't want to lose Marvin Harrison Jr. Could you imagine Marvin Harrison Jr., DJ, and Terry McLaurin? Is he a team for, you know what I mean? Is he one of those shut up and give me the ball type of people? What kind of guy is he? That's what the Bears have to figure out. Work that. I don't know. That I don't know. But hey, guys, listen, 2 hours is come and gone. I want to thank my guest, Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net, for coming out talking Blackhawks hockey, Cubs baseball, and a little bit of Bears at the end before he bounced. Stay away from Caleb Williams. I agree. Brian Hendricks says, when I do my mock, I have a hard time deciding between Fuaga and Verse. Understandable. Those are good. Those are good players. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. This chat was lit today. Great stuff. I love it. I appreciate it. Don't forget, 12:15, Sydney and Lakina, Second City Sports. Okay. And then at 3 o'clock, here on my channel, on my Facebook page, you'll see the show that Nomad and I are doing. All right, every day giving you Bears content for about an hour. And it's good, dope. Check it out. Come on over. If you're not subscribed to my guy Nomad and the Nomad Network on YouTube, go do it. Go do it. Great stuff, great analysis, great hosts, good stuff. But yeah, so I'm out. I got to go pick up the warden from CrossFit, and we'll see if anything breaks. I don't think anything will break. Okay, I think everything's going to happen after the combine, but we'll see. All right, stranger things have happened, but I think, yeah, I just think that, yeah, Luis says, I think they should keep Justin. Yeah. Like I said, you're starting to see the narrative change. You're starting to see the opinions change. All right. It just shows you Mel Kiper and Field Yates as well. I'm talking about keeping Justin. Where are all these people like Justin generational, Justin this is Justin that? And you're getting a lot of people saying Justin might not be the best one. We'll see. But anyway, listen, guys, you have a great day. It's supposed to be, let me see. You stink. You didn't tell me usually they have the weather on the front page of the Sun Times, but they're talking about a person who went to Ukraine to fight. So that cover page. So the weather's supposed to be very nice today and tomorrow. Okay, high is 66 today and 70 tomorrow. So really nice day today. Get out there, enjoy it with your family, your friends, your loved ones, even if it's a walk after work because you don't get out till 5. Okay? Get out there, enjoy it. Told you the benefits of enjoying it. All right, you need some vitamin D in your life. Go get some chicken. No, I'm kidding. Still, get out there and get that sun. Vitamin D. All right, get out there, sun, 20, 25 minutes. Nice little walk. Cool. All right, so for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, again, 12:15, Sydney and Lakina from Second City Sports. All right, 3 o'clock, I'll be back here. All right, at 6 o'clock, we'll have another encore presentation of What's Up, Cuz, due to the family situation Lance is having. So they should be back next week. All right, and then this show will be on again at 8. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, Elliot Baez, our executive producer, Clarence Council, our social media guy, my co-host Adam Sencha Maya, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a phenomenal day. It is going to be awesome. All right, I'm your boy, the SuperBack. Guess what, peoples? I am out. Bye.